Finally, the Generation 6 heroes are here, the Marksman, and right now we're looking at Kolk. Now, what the Kolk is doing is Marksman, PvP, and Precision. One of the things that I really like about this combination is the PvP talent tree is also giving some extra damage. So if we check some other hero that is having PvP, like for example Yang, we're going to say that this PvP can give some, for example, damage to increase, also damage do increase again. There is just so many damage do increases that we can achieve. And this is Kolk. Now, this is the first hero that most likely is going to be the open field one. We're going to jump over the artifact, we're going to jump over the pet, but for now, we're actually looking at this bad boy. Precision talent tree absolutely normal for the marksman, especially for the open field. As I mentioned in my previous video, marksmen normally use precision talent tree. In the rare case, they use the skill talent tree just to boost their output. But yeah, this bad boy is looking like a, I don't know, maybe like a orc. Definitely is going to be a Wilderberg one by looking at it. But yeah, it's going to be precision, most likely with PvP, some combination of this. So yeah, we're having the first generation 6 heroes in Cow Dragons. Now let's jump over the next one, which is going to be Mylra. Now there is a lot of questions around this in this hero. Is this hero going to be maybe the best rally leader? Some changes that may actually come in Cow Dragons with this hero, because majority of the people are mage main. Let's be honest, majority of the people are mage main. Even when I go and fight on the battlefield, I see that there's maybe 70-80% mages and like 20% marksmen. I mean, from the ranged troops. I don't involve cavalry, I don't involve infantry. So still, there is a huge domination from the mages. So what the marksmen can actually do? I mean, all these mages also have some marksmen. So one of the things I think the developers are doing is they're going to present us with a very solid rally leader. And I want to point out something. It should be with the spells. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was some confusion that this talent tree may actually support the rally, but at the end of the day, it may or it may not. It's strongly depending what is going to be the skills of this hero. So yeah, looking about the rally, looking over the tank, and to be fair, the rally talent tree is not actually that bad. I mean, the majority of the people actually go with full rally talent. Because if you go and check it out, the recommendation, you're going to see here we have rally do 2% more normal attack. Normally, this is like 2 times more from the normal what the rest of the talents are giving. Here it's normal attack damage bonus 4, here it's like 10. So everything that is related to the rallies definitely boost by a lot. It's definitely boosting by a lot. Now, from here, yeah, we can actually think over something like the rally and the tank talent tree, but at the end of the day, I think the majority of the players is going to go with full rally talent tree. It's not going to be, something like half builded thing. So yeah, rally and tank from first look is looking again Wilderberg hero. Actually, I don't remember. Do we have? Yeah, we have like Kuma, Lee Kuan. Kuma is obviously Wilderberg. Lee Kuan is League of Water. But anyway, let's jump over the next thing. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited because I really want finally the game give us some good marksman rally leader, because I really want to start using my marksmen. Now, I trained a big percentage from my marksmen. I actually trained them to become mages, where you have this retraining event where you can go and grab 300k marksmen and make them mages. This is something I do with my mages, but I really want to, have marksman rally leaders. This is more like Wells and Kraken's problem at the end of the day, because I don't think, free-to-play players, WoW spenders like me, maybe it's not the right people for making rallies, or maybe the Wells and Krakens with maxed pets, maxed decorations, maxed heroes, maxed artifacts, and yeah. So let's jump over the next one. So this is the new artifact. This is unending hatred, unending hatred. Now, from first look, it's looking like the access. I mean, the game give us some hints. Okay, so right now we're looking about the over the new artifact, but the game give us some hints, and I think this is going to be a Kolk artifact. As you can see, he's holding almost the same access, so I'm expecting this is going to be his artifact. Now, it's an axe which suggests melee fights, but maybe throwing axe. I don't know. The important here is a PvP and a suit. Now, this is a problem for the mages, for all the other troops. Why is that? Because a suit by default is doing huge amount of damage. If you involve PvP, it's doing decent amount of damage. So here we're having a suit and PvP, something that I can actually, at least give a overview over this type of heroes. And this is, for example, who should I? Yeah, for example, Nea have the exact artifact for her that is actually working with her with additional effect. Now, do I actually expect this thing to be something with additional effect? The answer is yes. I'm thinking this artifact is also going to have some additional effect, because lately the last artifacts that are present in the game is having additional effect for the heroes. For example, Verdun, having those Doom braces is having additional effect connected to Verdun rune generation. Some other hero, for example, who else? Yu Ming, but here the artifact is more general because it's not only directly connected only to Yu Ming. Maybe I should point some other heroes that are latest generation, like for example Joran. The artifact of Joran is again something related to the Joran and have additional effect. When successful parry, the Legion ignores some percentage of the defense for 10 seconds, up to 10%. So you see that we're having, a new heroes, and the artifacts slowly in Camp of Dragons is start moving in this direction where we start having additional effects, a lot of additional effects. I mean, people remember Phoenix Eye, the only artifact I think back in the days that was having something specific hero related was actually Infernal Flame. This is the Lilia artifact, where you do a Scorch, you get some extra damage for 5 seconds, 25% for 5 seconds. And that was the only one, because only hero that is doing Scorch is actually Lilia. So I think this artifact is going to have additional effect and is going to be directly related with Kolk. Now going further, this is Toxizaur. Now I have no idea what this pet is going to be. The interesting thing is having a skill which suggests that this pet is not going to be some kind of just booster. It's going to be something like doing damage and boosting the damage at the end of the day. We still don't know the full picture over what kind of is going to be the skills of these heroes, but I think it's going to be skill related. I mean, it's not going to be, for the marksmen. When you watch marksmen, you're going to notice something that majority of the marksmen is boosting the damage the marksmen are doing. So if I check legendary marksmen, Magrat, for example, is like 450% normal attack damage bonus. Sindrian boosting the normal attack damage bonus, or actually doing two normal attacks. Frygar boosting the critical rate. Nico is doing damage. Kinara is doing rage skill damage. These two heroes and the latest heroes is actually giving some extra damage at the end of the day. This is the last generation, still is doing pretty nice damage. So I'm expecting those type of heroes, the new heroes, just to be something that is related exactly to this, basically giving having these rage skills that are doing damage, not boosting the normal attack of the heroes. And I think the pet is going to be very nicely connected to this whole picture. So yeah, I'm excited about the new marksmen as a mage main. I think to some extent the elk riders take the marksman role, because majority of the people who I see, they, especially under my comments, people are like, I was playing ground cavalry and I spent like 1 billion mana last season, so I switched to elk riders. And elk riders is having this range that the marksmen are having, but is having way better march speed. Also, is still having this this rage regeneration. All these things. So yeah, I wonder where the marksmen are going to go. Maybe this is going to be the place where they're going to go. I think that the marksman is going to go in fully in the rally direction, not that much open field, because the game tried to boost the marksmans. They present reducing damage from the I think I don't remember quite well, but they get some buffs. If we go and check it out, the marksmans, okay, one marksman's, what kind of buffs they're having? They're having this one. When the Legion take magic damage, this is anti-mage. When field, it takes some percentage less magic damage and also increasing the march speed. On top of that, the game also tried to bring long range warfare, but still the reduction of 20% of the base stats is absolutely brutal. And the people who know the game from very long time, they know that just by reducing by 20%, you're reducing also this green number, because all the percentage you're having as a boosters is boosters directly related to your base damage or your base stats. So yeah, we're going to see what is going to be. I'm expecting that we're going to see some rally meta. I may be wrong. Let me know in the comments what you think, guys. What is your personal opinion over the new marksman heroes? So yeah, this is going to be for this video. Just wanted to share my first impression of these heroes. Definitely both is going to be Wilderberg. And yeah, let me know what you think. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.